Hi there and welcome back to the channel. I'm Brian, and in today's video we're going to be talking about good old board 003. Yep, it's back on the bench, and today 61 chips. 61 chips. So obviously there's probably something here in this last domain, and if I leave it running long enough, it'll tell me something's going on over here. That's okay. I need to go ahead and pull that solder nut right there and take that out of the equation as well. I'll replace it. I think the threads are damaged, so I'll get into that. But that's what we're doing today. Working on fixing that stripped out nut and fixing this I think chip 62. All right, I've got the board all disassembled. I cleaned up chip 62. And I also cleaned up around 43. You may remember that from the last video, because we took out 43 and 44. But anyway, I got these two chips cleaned up. We're going to leave the chips in, but if I move over to the microscope, and there we go. So if we look at this nut, we see if I can get that in focus a little bit better. There we go. We can see that, well, the top threads are stripped. So definitely got to take this nut off. I'm going to take the nut off first because it's just easier in my mind. I've got everything kind of ready to go for that. All right, I've got my handy dandy super duper jig here. That's some high-tech fancy stuff right there. So what I do is I put this thing into my jig so it holds it out. Now, this is different from when I just hang it off the fan, right? But I'm going to go ahead and heat it from the bottom. And at the same time, I'm going to put the soldering iron on the top. And that way, when I put the new one on, it'll really seat it in there good. This seems to be the best thing I found to do. I'd really like to do this without getting that chip 43 flowing again. I don't really want that chip to get loose. Okay, so I have to do that from the top rather than the bottom, so I could get more heat focused in the right place. Normally I don't, when I'm doing these for the first time, I don't clean them up. But considering that this one, we're redoing it, I want to clean this up some. So put some flux on here. Okay. While keeping the iron on there. There we go. Okay, so let the board cool after replacing that, and I just want to check before we go ripping off this chip, because this is right. We did 61 chips. I just want to make sure that that's actually the chip that I need to take. So I've hooked it all back up, and we're going to check it. Because sometimes after you heat the board up, you'll get some interesting signal problems. That's a known issue with these S17s. And we're getting a signal problem. So we got 0 chips now. What the heck? Well, since I was messing around here, let's see. Okay, we got 40. That's good. And just so you know, I'm jumping. Let's see. Let me zoom in real good here so you can see where I'm jumping. So I go to the RO signal, and then I grab the 1.8 volt, and I just short it. Okay. Now you always want to do kind of the logic is the one nearest. You want to short to the one nearest. So you want to short in this domain. Here you would short like right there to there, like that. Okay, so let me get back over to the tester so we can see that. So if I go there, I get 51. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and jump over here. Let's just see, because maybe the issue is right around that 60. Okay, so 60 is good. So we know all the signal's good to there. What about 61? Uh-oh. 61's no good. So that means this chip is probably the bad chip. All right, well, let me clean that up, and we'll take that one off, or we'll at least do some measurements on it. So let me do that real quick. All right, so I cleaned up chip 61, and when I did, let's see, you can kind of see it because I scrubbed it a little bit too hard with alcohol, but that says 61. That means this chip was replaced. So when I saw that, I realized I needed to get my test probes out. We need to do some testing. Now, I also went back and I checked on the last video. I looked at the summary. I looked at how the chips were performing, and I think it was chip 14, which we're not going to get into that, but maybe since we've got the board out, maybe I will go ahead and take this heatsink off. But first, I want to get this sorted on this side. I noticed that chip 47 was a very bad red chip, so I went ahead and cleaned that, and we'll do some diode testing here. So we're going to test this. This also reported as a semi-weak chip. This is where our signal flow is stopping. So right now I got 3 chips that probably need to come off the board. Let's see though. Let's see what's going on. So I'm going to put my positive probe on the top of the chip, and I've got my meter set to diode mode, and I'm just going to check. Now this should be 1.29 is normal. Okay, 1.29 is good. The RO is going to be 0.49-ish. 0.44 is good. This next one, the return, going to be 1.17. That's right. Usually it's less than 1.2. And the last one should be 1.2 again. So 1.29 is good. Okay, so everything looks good in that direction. But if I come over here and I look in this direction, holy crap. Okay, that's a problem. Okay, the return is good, but the BI was terrible. All right, the RO is good. The CI is high. And the clock is high. So definitely we got some problems going through this chip. Let's just come back over here. I like to do the same thing. Check it. Okay, that suspect is all get outs. If I check on this side of the chip, okay, values look pretty good. So normally when I see this, it's normally, if you check the values after and they're high, then that's usually this chip. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this one. And while I'm at it, I will replace this one because it's a weak chip. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get those two out of the way. Then I'll see how it works, and if it works fine, then I'm going to go ahead and go after chip 47 while I've got the board apart, right? But first, let's get 61 and 62 out of the way and fixed up. Since I haven't done a solder on this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you that. If you want to see more soldering and desoldering, put it in the comments for me. If you want to see less, like, come on, Brian, I've seen this a million times, then let me know that too. Because I want to give you guys what you want to see. The purpose of this channel is, of course, to do hashboard repair, right? And specifically right now, I'm focused on the S17s because that's what I've got in my farm. Somebody's feeling really brave and wants to send me a S19 series. I don't promise that I'm going to give it back to you, but I'd love to play with one. I don't have the chips for that, but it will eventually. I will get into S19s. All right, let's go ahead. Heat it up from the bottom, because that's the way I like to desolder. Also how I like to solder my chips. Makes it easier whenever you're looking in the microscope too. You know what? Let's go look at this. How about this? Is that good? Let me just bump this over. Yeah, there you go. That's better. I like that. What do you think? Is that a good view? Again, comment down in the... leave me a comment down below if you like that view. If that is a better view for replacing a chip. I think it might be. Cool. Okay, let's go ahead and move over to 62 while we're in the neighborhood. Okay, good. Clean them up. Okay, it does look like if I move these back and forth. Yeah, it looks like both of these have been replaced. So, lucky me. Can't wait till I get my new chip tester built. In case you haven't heard about that. Got an idea. There's an open source project for the 1397s where you can build a little PCB and make you a one-chip miner. These things draw too much power to run in a USB configuration. At least they didn't set it up to work that way. So, kind of exciting. I'm going to put a socket on it and we'll have a chip tester. Okay, put a little flux on there. Hopefully you know what's coming. Okay. I got my soldering iron just a tad bit too hot. Turn it back down to about 395. I have the big tip on here, which this may be a real... I'll tell you what. I'm going to take that tip off. That's going to be just too much fun. All right, I gave it just a little bit of time to heat the tip back up, and I put it in a retinner so that I've got just a nice fresh tip, right? So, all right, let's go ahead. I'm gonna grab a little bit of solder. Whew, I grabbed a whole bunch of solder. All right, let's go ahead and try it since I got it all. Okay, clean my tip off. I have too much solder on there. I feel like actually I need a little bit more flux because it's just not wanting to flow. There we go. So much better when you have enough flux. Okay. Great. Let's get the chips out. Spent the weekend redoing chips, so I got a bunch of good chips to go with. It's very exciting. Tell you what, let's move things around so it's better for everybody. There we go. Okay, cool. It's nice to have a place to rest your finger on. I just like to have that there. If you notice, my pinky's resting on the fan. That just lets me have a more steady hand. The other thing I need to do, I need to zoom out a little bit, guys and gals, because I need a little bit more room in my scope. There we go. Solder's getting all melty. Yeah, I've got some solder underneath the chip here that's just not quite ready yet. There you go. Did you see that? Those BBs just came in. All nice and pretty. Okay, I don't want to get the board too cold because I have this chip right here that needs to be mounted as well. So a little bit more flux, probably too much flux, but hey. All right, also, I'm going to put the weight on just to help kind of keep the board stable. AH chip. It's one of the chips I pulled off the S17 hash boards that I got for a really good deal. Okay, you can see down there that's getting melty. I want to see those get all shiny. Little pads. Ooh, there's that one. Oh, look at those. Those all got shiny real quick. Okay, look at that. Chip even hopped into place for me. BBs. There we go. So easy when you get things flowing. Practice. That's all I can encourage anyone who is still struggling with getting their chips to seat. Just keep doing it. I still have my bad chips. I just don't want to sit down, but more times than not, they mount pretty easy. All right, I'm gonna let this cool off, and once it's cooled off, then we'll put it on the tester, and I'll be right back. All right, I think the board's cooled off really nicely. I went ahead and labeled those two chips, so I know I replaced them. And we kind of have 65 chips. All right, this is where I think we've got some of the weak chips, right? And that's why we had that back and forth. Let's go ahead and test the temperature sense while I'm at it. Okay, all the temperature sense readings are good. Ooh, I say good. Look at 40, look at 4. Holy cow. Okay, this is the one that was going hot. Yep, okay, we just lost it all. Okay, so we got some signal problems. I'm going to go ahead and take out 47 and get it replaced. I know you've seen me take a chip out, so I'll save you the excitement. I'll be right back after the chip has been replaced. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. So let me flip over to the testing screen and let's test this thing. 65 chips without like jumping around to any error, right? Boom, it was there. Okay, let me change over and let's see what the temperature does. All right, we got that high level on 4. No big deal. That goes away whenever you put pressure on it. Cool. I think we're good to go. I'll go ahead and put this one back into the miner or get it all assembled. We'll do a last test and then we'll put that back in the miner. I'm going to go ahead and wait on replacing 14 because as I remember, 14 was just a really weak chip, but it wasn't a 0 chip. So let me get everything back together and then we'll test it one last time and I'll put it in the miner for testing. That's funny. When you put a little bit of pressure on that, then chip 55 starts behaving. Very interesting. All right, let me go get this in the miner real quick and we'll see how it works there. The board is back in its actual miner and you can see it's chain 3. It's hashing away as the system is tuning down and getting going. So that's all it took. It took, I guess, 3 chips, right? 61, 62, and 47 was replaced because it was a weak chip. Now, 14, let's just check that real quick. Okay, 14 is definitely still a weak chip. That did not go away, but it's kind of a borderline weak chip. You just saw it change from a red to a yellow. So it's a weak chip, but you know, until something else breaks, I'm probably not going to worry about fixing that chip. But if I happen to fix another chip underneath that heatsink, I'll definitely replace 14. Well, that does it for now. Board 003 is back in action. It's back and it's hashing away again. So thanks for watching. I hope you found something useful in the video today. And be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I post a video. And thank you so much for all the subscribers that have joined with me so far. See you soon.